Thank you so much for hanging out with us here talking about cannabis. This is Let's Talk About Cannabis. My name is Edgar from 97.1 Amp Radio. The new guys, we got Mike from the world famous KROQ, Kevin and B Morning Show, and giving you the 411 today, Dr. Drew. Any questions in regards to marijuana, weed? Yes.
How does smoking weed affect my performance in school or in sports?
Right. So school, this is well documented. It affects your memory, impaired memory, short-term particularly, and the simplest way to think about it is it will affect your academic performance measurably. So if you're trying to do well in school, you want to go to college, this is not the way to enhance that. It will work against you, guaranteed. In athletic performance, one of the main, for one thing, when you get high, you don't want to really go run wind sprints, do you? Is that the first thing we do is go to practice, so that it doesn't exactly motivate. But the other thing is it can affect response to novelty. And one of the big things about things about sports performance is being able to respond to new situations, right? There's all kinds of new situations always presenting themselves, whether it's soccer or baseball or football, and you will not deal with them effectively if you're high. You understand what I mean by novelty? Like if it's something you've never seen before, being able to solve problems and come up with. It's novelties. It's being able to. It's problem solving in new situations. You won't do that as efficiently as if you hadn't been high.
What's the direct effect? You stated the fact that you're not going to do very well, meaning in getting good grades and so on and so forth. Right. What does marijuana do to you that you can't do well in school?
Yeah, they've tried to nail down exactly where the mechanisms are, and that's why I'm trying to keep it simple, because it gets a little complicated very quickly. But it's memory and problem solving. That's basically the way to think about it. But there are very, very specific blocks that are out there, and motivation. People also aren't as motivated to study and perform.
And this isn't really relating to the subject that we're on, but I've heard that marijuana gives you the munchies. Why is that? Why does it make you hungry?
Good question. Yeah, it's, as I understand, I haven't looked at that literature in a long time, but it's through the insulin. You see a spike in your insulin levels, and that drops your blood sugar, and that makes you hungry. Is there anything else? Also, there's another piece too that I've read about a little bit. That the part of the brain that is sort of getting the effects of the cannabis, or the nurturing part of the brain, so you tend to like the yummier foods, the sort of the warm blanket kinds of food. It's that part of the brain that's associated with the reward of those kinds of foods, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Is it true that cancer patients sometimes are prescribed medical marijuana because they can't eat on their own?
It helps stimulate appetite. It's certain congeners of the cannabis. There's a bunch of molecules in pot, right? And certain of them are more, and cannabis to some extent can stimulate appetite. Yeah, it works pretty well in some cases.
I have a question about the CBD in it.
Yeah.
I've seen these syrups, the CBD syrups. Yeah. Is that bad for you?
Is that bad for you? It's hard to get pure CBD. Do you know if it's pure CBD or not?
It's like 98%.
Yeah. Pure CBD is not, we have to study it yet. There's a lot more study to be done. It pretty clearly is going to have some therapeutic effects, like for people that have seizures, things like that. Probably a lot of different therapeutic effects. Whether it has any downside, or whether it's different, when you have an illness and you want to treat it, it's different than a healthy person taking a substance, right? Those are two different phenomena. Should a healthy person be taking something that's a little more complicated? Well, it's a different question than should somebody with seizures take it.
That healthy person?
We don't know. It has to be studied. Would it harm them is the question. We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know.
Does everybody know what a CBD is?
It's a certain molecule in cannabis, Tetrahydrocannabinol is the one that makes you high. CBD is the one that we think doesn't make people high and may have some anti-inflammatory and some other therapeutic anti-seizure effects, and so people want to study it.
When someone stops smoking, say after like a week or two, don't you build up
tolerance?
Yeah.
Yeah, there can be a withdrawal. Not everyone gets the withdrawal, but the withdrawal, the big complaint is sleep disturbance. Yeah. Everyone has a sleep problem. And that can go for a long time, like months. The other thing is irritability. There can sometimes be some paranoia also. You're always kind of anxiety for sure. But it's a weird anxiety. Like with alcohol withdrawal, you get anxious, you have panic attacks. With this one, it's a little more kind of grinding and paranoid kind of a feeling.
What should someone do about that?
Well, if you were to see a doctor about it, I'm fearful what they would give you. So I'm not necessarily, if you were to see somebody like me that really has a lot of experience treating that, that would be good, but those are not easy people to find. You know, otherwise, you could take melatonin at night and, you know, do a lot of exercise and stay hydrated and don't smoke any more pot, because it really will make it a lot worse, especially the anxiety part can spike. So you guys just got cold turkey. The sleeplessness is what will drive you crazy, and you got to kind of work on that. So,
for any more information, go to letstalkaboutcannabis.com. The facts are there for you guys to make better decisions on your own.